second to go live here.
Okay, because we are almost 5 minutes late, and anybody that is watching us live, you know, they're probably like, where are they? Are we up in it?
Not yet. It's coming.
Okay.
It says we are in Zoom, but YouTube isn't showing us yet. It might catch up.
All right, well, get through the boring stuff anyway.
Okay.
So I'm going to call this meeting to order. It is 1:35 on Tuesday, August 11th. Are there any additions to the agenda? Tim? Tim's frozen again. Brent?
Just on rural economic development program.
Okay, so under new and unfinished?
Yeah.
Or under Kevin's report? Where would you like it?
Just under new and finished.
You got it. So that's number 2 under new and unfinished. And can actually be number 1 because I don't really have a County of Renfrew update right now. I will at our next meeting because of course July we took off and my committee meetings are tomorrow and Thursday. So I don't really have any. So I'm going to remove number 1. We're going to make Brent's number 1, the red program. Jack, do you have anything?
No.
Okay. I'm going to wait for Tim to come back up here.
And didn't we have a letter that we added?
Okay. So Annette, I was going to just add that under Jason's report because it's actually for Jason. So the addition that I have written down here is for Jay, the letter re the garden in Centennial Park, the email that was sent from the Women's Sexual Assault Committee. So we can discuss that at the end of Jason's report. Tim, did you have something that you wanted to add?
I just wanted to talk with the speeding issues there with Jason when it comes on. So.
Okay, so I'm going to add that as well under Jay's report, the speeding.
Right. And just one thing, guys, my computer keeps flashing back and forth. I don't know if it's the storm doing it or what, or I'm connected, but it just logged off and on twice now in the last couple of minutes.
Okay.
That's
So
not
I'm
good.
finally here.
Okay, Merv.
There's nothing.
Do you have any additions to the agenda?
I have no idea where the agenda, I've never seen the agenda.
Oh boy.
I have an issue. I would like to talk about the dump cards.
Okay, so we're also going to do that under Jason's report then.
Sorry.
Okay, so Jay, we've got three things that we need to talk to you about when you're done your actual report. If there's nothing else, can I get a confirmation of the agenda, please? Moved by Brent. All those in favor? Thank you. All right, is there any pecuniary interest or the general nature thereof? Seeing none, can I get an approval of the minutes of the committee meeting held on July 14th, 2020, please? Moved by Brent. Are there any errors or omissions? Seeing none, all those in favor? Thank you. All right, we have no delegations, so we're going to move on to Jason. Hi, Jay. Welcome.
Hello, everyone. To start off, Silver Lake, our construction on Silver Lake has been completed. It went very well. We just kind of hit it right for the contractor to come in and throw the surface treatment down. So that's a good sign. Augsburg Road, it has, they actually started paving today. They have 1.7 kilometers done on one lane. I don't think they'll be able to go any further because of the rain. Depending on how quickly it dries up, they might be able to continue. Is there anyone questions? No?
No, I just, other than I was across Silver Lake Road there yesterday, I guess, and it was really, really nice. Thanks, Jason. Good job.
Okay. So Fort Chute Road, we had the contractor, excuse me, come back in. They were in contact with the engineers. The simplest and a start for trying to get the water puddles off the road was for them to come in and when it was raining with a big packer and pack down the edges. They have, instead of, coming along and doing some cuts, we don't want to open that road up after it's been, sealed with one complete layer.
So I'm no road expert. Jason, in your opinion, do you think that this is going to fix the problems that we saw or the deficits that we saw? Because it seemed to me from your video that that was a heck of a lot of water pooling. And maybe right now is the time to send somebody out and see if that's done any good for Fourth Chute Road. I mean, we want to make sure it's right while it's still under warranty. And that really did not seem like it was done properly. But I'll leave it to you. I see Tim's got his hand up. Go ahead, Tim.
Jason, we've had multiple vehicles, probably in excess of 60,000 kilograms, going up and down this road now since last October. What type of a packer do they think they're going to put on that to shove that asphalt down any further than what that is?
What they were hoping to do, Tim, was just compact the edge where like along the edge of the A gravel to get it flatter with the edge of the asphalt and to possibly push the A gravel down a little bit. So what the problem was where the come down on the flat of the road and they were coming into the contours, that's where the problems have started, coming on to the contours and coming off. Now, I don't know if the issue was the amount of A gravel that was put on during the construction. I don't really know what the deal is, but it has helped. We were back down and looked at it again after they had compacted it. There was a storm came through and it did take a lot of the water off the road.
Okay, Jack, you had your hand up.
Yeah, according to your photos that we saw, Jason, a lot of that water was pooling more in the middle of the road, not necessarily right out on the edge, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, I agree with Tim, like packing the edge, I don't really see how that's going to be a long-term solution. I really don't see that.
No, it was just, they wanted to try it just to see if it would. And if it continues, well, then we will be definitely going into a different direction for sure.
Okay, so that being said, Jay, I think that this was a very expensive project and was partially funded from the feds and the province. I would like to see an extended warranty from the contractor. And I believe, if I'm hearing the rest of council correctly, that's fine. So they've tried something, but I agree with whomever, I don't know what Tim or Jack said, that the water was in the middle of the road and it was a substantial amount of water. I would like to see this construction project. Can you please speak with our engineers and or the contractor about that?
Yes. There is already extended warranty, Jen.
For how long?
Another year.
Okay, Jack?
And just to follow up, like what Jen's saying, I thought we had to look at it, did we not, Jason? And would they not be able to give you their interpretation if this is sort of like a solution or just an interim fix? Or because to me, it doesn't look like a long-term fix to pack the edge of the road and you're not even affecting the surface where the water is
I
collected.
agree.
What did our engineers say about it?
that's who I was in contact with, and he said that, you know, if Green would give this a try, he would just go with it for now, and then I'll go back down and I'll actually take some more pictures. Hopefully the water will still be on the road after I get done with this meeting. And we'll go and take some pictures and see if it is working or not working. But yes, I will definitely get in contact with the engineer.
Okay,
And get-
thank you. So your number 4, Jason, was actually an ask of Annette and I when we were doing the Friday evening segment at the Eganville Legion. They're asking, the parking lot is really, really, really sandy. And what they were asking for, knowing that there is this Operation Save Our Legion going on, the ask from council was, would we consider sweeping it as a donation to the Legion? But they were hoping that it would be done prior to their Friday night barbecue, which is in 3 days, of course. So I'll open it up. I thank you for putting it in your report, but I just wanted council to know that this was actually an ask of our CAO and myself that was passed along to Jason. So what does council think? Yes, Murph, go ahead.
Yes, that was one of the things I was going to put on the agenda as well. Yes, I think it would only be fair for the township to, just because of the crisis the Legion is in, to help them out a little bit this year by sweeping the lot.
Okay, Tim? Did you have your hand?
No, I didn't.
It was Jack, sorry. Jack had his hand. Oh, you didn't? Oh, sorry. Sorry, Tim, go ahead.
Oh, I didn't have my hand up there. I'm still in debate in my own mind here.
Okay, Brent?
No, I don't. No, I have no problem doing that. And if we're gonna do the Legion as well, then we might as well feel out there and see if there is any other, say, nonprofits, businesses that maybe want it as well. Maybe that's something we're gonna look in, just because we probably will get letters just asking for maybe more things. So but I have no problem sweeping and stuff and supporting them. That's no problem. But getting done this Friday, I wouldn't really commit to that. It depends on Jason's schedule, obviously, with the guys, and if that's an ability. But no, I'm fine. I'm fine getting it swept and everything. But being this week or next week or the week after, just whenever it's suitable for the construction schedule.
Although it might have just been pressure washed.
One thing, like I say, for myself, in a situation like this, I love the Legion. The Legion is great. It's a great addition to our community. All around, it's always the spin-offs, like Brent said. You know what happens in the future when we say yes to one? How does that get stopped? And I mean, like I say, the Legion. Absolutely support it and love it. I'm still, I don't know if I'll be able to answer this question right at this particular time.
Yes, Brent, go ahead.
I was gonna say maybe as a township we can reach out to some of the people that we have done in the past as well, or put feelers out with other nonprofits or businesses, and just seeing on the same day if we're gonna go and do Legions, just see if they want to maybe pay at a reduced rate or do theirs as well. But I'm just if we're going to do one, we might have to do others. So I'm just trying to put out there, if there is other people, then it's a donation on staff time. So.
Yeah, I'm the reason that this was even brought forward is I'm going to use the word that Merv just used, is that the Legion is in crisis. And I think what they were looking for was for council to basically donate. And it's not that I disagree with you, Brent. I understand that there are other not-for-profits that could use our help, but this is a very serious time for the Legion, and that's why this was brought forward. Yes, go ahead.
So what I'm looking at, okay, the driveway or whatever isn't swept, but I don't think that's impeding anything up at the Legion itself, right? There's a bit of sand or whatever that's on it. And like you said, a lot of it's getting washed off in the next little bit. It's the overall taxpayers' funds that will be going towards doing it if that's the case, right? And that's where, you know, as a private business or something like that wants to donate to the nonprofits, I'm in full support of that, but our guys are so busy too. Like there's a lot of stuff that's going on in our municipality right now where we're behind on a lot of things. And I don't want to be the negative guy in the room here, but it's something we got to be very careful of when we go down
Jason,
this.
Sorry, I didn't make this very clear, Tim. It's not that it's the parking lot or the driveway, it's that the barbecue is in the parking lot. Sorry, I should have made that far more clear. So the tables and chairs and the barbecues and all of that are actually in the Legion parking lot, and that's why they made this request. Sorry, I didn't make it very clear as to what was going on. Yes, Jack, go ahead.
Well, I guess the bottom line is they are in a crisis and they are in a bind. And I don't know, Jason would have to answer this, but I don't imagine it would take a lot of time for the sweeper to go in and sweep that area and get it cleaned up for their barbecue or for their fundraiser that they're doing. The thing is, we got to really caution is that we don't want to get into this, that this becomes a habit. And every time there's a crisis or a flag that we're expected to jump in and bail them out, right? And I could see it, you know, this type of crisis, because they haven't been able to have any revenue at all this year because of the restrictions. So I can just imagine the financial bind that they're in. It's probably very substantial. So
Actually, you can't imagine it. I mean,
I can, Jen. I lost the business. I know the financial.
Oh yeah, true. Sorry,
Don't
sorry.
Don't
It's
say I
just,
can't.
knowing that there are legions and many of them across Ontario and across Canada that are actually closing at this time, the fundraising efforts and the idea of the barbecue between the Rotary Club and the Legion, just an amazing operation. But I don't disagree that we could be setting a precedent for other organizations that are in crisis and need our help. So yeah, sorry, Brent, I kind of wrote over you there. You had your hand up.
I was just gonna say, Jason, how, like, realistically, how long would it even take to do the sweeping parking lot? Like, what's your sweeping schedule for this year, like remaining?
We could probably do it this week. I don't think that would be a big ordeal. You know, you're looking at about 2 hours with 4 to 5 guys.
Okay. And then
It's just like,
yeah.
you know, we got to go in and get the bulk of it. Most of the sand probably is around the building and stuff. So, you know, by the time you sweep that out and then come in with the machine and then, you know, come and pick it up, it would be about that amount of time.
I think the worst of it is over by the memorial. There seems to be a lot of caked on stuff there.
And then I was just gonna say, no, I definitely agree. Like, I'm in favor of sweeping it. I think it makes sense, especially like the Legion has supported our community and our township for a long time, and you never know in the future if we support them now that they're going to support us again, be it raising money or creating a community feel. But maybe there is other businesses out there, so maybe I ask township staff to reach out to other maybe businesses or nonprofits and seeing maybe they're interested at a reduced rate. I don't know. I don't know how council feels for that. I don't want to exclude other businesses or nonprofits or charities or anything else that is remaining.
And that's where I was kind of going with it was, you know, there's, are we the first ask? And like I say, I'm not saying no. We've been down the road before where we've said yes to one. And like I said, right from the start, I love the Legion and we'll do what we can to help them. Absolutely. But we gotta be aware of what's coming if we say yes now, with other organizations down the road. And that's all I've been, trying to caution, that's all. Like I say,
Okay.
I don't mind helping them out if it's helping them out, for sure. We'll help anybody out, but as long as we're all aware of what can happen.
Yes, Annette.
Thank you. I just want to know, Jason, how much do we normally charge? Like if because we do this for businesses and not-for-profits, but what do we normally charge?
The rate for the holder, I believe is, just give me 1 second. I would have to get that information.
Because the rates would have been set in a bylaw, right?
Yes.
So council's basically, what you're doing is you're waiving those rates.
Yes.
I don't know if it's $110 an hour or what it is, but. Just trying to get an idea of the value of the donation.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good idea.
The sweeper is $150 an hour.
You said there'd be 4 guys with that, Jake?
Yes.
And 2 hours, so
Give or take.
300 and some staff time, so we're talking about $500.
Roughly, yes.
Just to give us an idea of the donation.
Well, I'd feel more comfortable, and I don't know if this is against the municipal act or how it is, but I would be more comfortable donating an hour's worth of sweeper rental out of my pay for the month.
Okay, so what you'd have to do, Tim, is you have to receive your money and you have to actually give it back to the municipality.
Okay, now that I would rather do.
But guys, we're not going to conferences and we still left ourselves discretionary money and a little bit of conference money. There is no doubt in my mind that there's a little extra money in our own council that we could use to pay Jason's guys. The other thing is we've been doing half-day meetings. We've only had 1 meeting a month. So there's a serious savings component to that where, not having that second meeting a month, that's $1,000.
Like I say, I'd be more comfortable getting that as setting the precedent of than just saying yes to, to other, not others either. There's a lot of good people out there, but like I say, I've been bit before by something I've done in the past, and like we don't want the undeeds to go punished, so to speak. So like I said, I'd much rather take something out of my budget or whatever, or something first, like out of that to go towards it, and then not out of the general.
All right, so is everybody okay with offsetting this donation through our I would use our discretionary account, I think, Annette. Nobody's using that.
That's fine.
Right? Has anybody used their discretionary account? I doubt any of us.
Some were
Okay.
used for the playground for Kevin's.
Oh, that's right. We did donate a little. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
Okay,
But certainly we've got savings in our own salaries just by virtue of our shortened meetings being more efficient and only having 1 meeting in July and 1 meeting in August. And we're not going to conferences.
Mhm.
All right, Jason, so you can continue on. And just so you're aware, Merv doesn't have his agenda or his package. He actually added speeding to your agenda, but it is number 5 for Bonnechere Lodge Road, if you want to take us through that.
Yes, so we had a request from Bonnechere Lodge to get the speed reduced from 80 kilometers to 50 kilometers an hour on the road, because there is so many people walking, and there's people on both sides of the road when you get down to the lodge where they're crossing the road. There's little kids, there's a lot of people traffic.
Sorry, guys. Okay, and so I think that was a good thing, and I think Tim also wanted to speak to speeding. Tim?
Merv had his hand up. He was gonna.
Oh, I'm
toss it.
sorry, Merv, could you do me a
But-
favor? Could
Yeah.
you shut the curtains behind you?
Okay,
Oh, that's better. Now I can see you.
okay,
And
better.
then Jack put his up behind Merv there.
Okay, sorry.
Anyway, obviously, I haven't heard about the request, but yes, indeed, there are a lot of people walking. As a matter of fact, it was interesting. My daughter and brother-in-law are at their trailer this week, and they went for a walk this morning, and they were complaining about how fast the traffic was whizzing by them, and there are 6, 8, 10 people out there walking. So I would have no
Wow.
problem with reducing the speed limit.
No, I agree. Jack, go ahead.
The question is, Jason, were you gonna come right from Ruby Road, or how far all the way down? The whole road, or what? Or from where the train tracks used to be, or?
I think Jack will we go right from the beginning,
Okay,
because there's a lot of people walk out to the end and back in.
And consistency makes it way easier if it's
Yes.
just one speed. Yeah. Yes, Tim?
Now I kind of want to get into this, and I've had quite a few calls regarding the speeding, and I've had a lot of time to think about, with speed limit signs and what's going on. For the most part, the speed limit signs aren't doing any good. And a lot of places where and we've seen across the board where the people are going fast are in 50 zones. And I think we have an enforcement issue. They're not slowing down. I don't know what has happened with people this last year. I've noticed myself, I'm on the road, up to 14 hours every day. And if for whatever reason, I've got lineups of traffic behind me at all times now. Everybody is just wide open around here for some reason. And making the roads rougher or by putting speed bumps up, I don't think is the solution whatsoever. Otherwise, we'd save a lot of money and not even pave anything anymore or grade them, right? I don't know what to do with the people that are speeding. I've had people calling on Augsburg Road, people on the 4th Street Road, people all over. And if they follow the actual speed limit signs that are there, there's usually not an issue. And that's the problem. It's not that they're not, it's not that the signs aren't there. The people are using their brains to connect to their feet. And how do we control that? One thing I've been thinking of, is there any way, now I have seen this in other areas, but I'm still fairly fresh at this seat, where the community safety zones and where the fines are increased as a deterrent. Is that any way, shape, or form capable of some of these other areas instead of putting up a sign that really isn't going to do anything? What we need to do is make people understand that the actual speed limit that's there is probably sufficient if people obey that speed limit. And that's what I'm getting at, whether we can change it down to 10 kilometers an hour, but people aren't going to follow that sign, right? They're still not using their heads when they see people walking on the road.
That's number 3 on my list for my meeting with the staff sergeant tomorrow. I'm not sure what the legality is about community safety zones. I was going to ask them.
Okay.
Yes, Jason.
We actually had the police monitoring the Augsburg Road construction for us. There's just so many people that were coming into the zone and they were just speeding.
But the thing, what I'm saying, Jason, that is a 50 zone, right? That's 50. It's 50 right from town right through around by Dawson's Corner. You're still in a 50 zone there, and it doesn't seem to matter. Like that big 50 sign is all over the place there. We can put 1,000 of them up all over the municipality, but nobody's going to adhere to them until they start either getting fined or realize that their actions have consequences. So I really think that we have to get on board and start getting a little bit more enforcement out there.
I will report back after my meeting tomorrow. Yes, Merv.
The interesting part, and Jason could probably expand on this. We had the speed monitor up here in Bonnechere Lodge Road last year between my driveway and the lodge. And I think there was only one speeder, wasn't there, Jason?
I'd have to look, Merv. I do believe it wasn't very many. Yes.
So Jay, can we deploy that out to Fourth Chute and then to Augsburg?
Yes.
And before we start reducing the sign on Bonnechere Lodge, maybe we should have it there to give a really good educated guess on our end, what's really taken place. And if it was only one last year, like I said, this year, I can't believe what I've been noticing out there on the highways. And I don't know if the connection in the COVID crisis has been lost between their brains and their feet, but the accelerator seems to be going down a lot further.
But Tim, this wasn't 1 over 50. This was 1 over 80.
Yeah, they're just talking about making the whole thing 50.
Down to a fifth, I understand.
I'm
Yeah.
saying when we monitored, there was one speeder one was doing over 80. The rest of them are doing under 80.
But at that point in time, though, Merv, that was an 80 zone, right? Because it's an unmarked area right through
Yeah.
to the end. So, I don't know. Like I say, I caution on doing the reduction if it's in the above, because we already see what's happening in a lot of areas that are already at a 50 zone, and it doesn't seem to matter. So, but if it's going to help the people at the lodge, well, what's it?
Well, that's a real walking road. Not that other roads aren't. I mean, I think that we've got some pretty serious speeding problems, and I don't disagree with Tim. I'm wondering if it does have something to do with COVID. You know, are people just out driving around? But I was doing pretty close to 100 on 512 the other day going to town, and somebody passed me like I was standing still. I mean, this guy must have been in a pickup truck. He must have been doing easily 120. And it wasn't Jack, I swear.
And I know the location of the road quite well. One thing we do have to always remember is our roads are meant basically as thoroughfares for traffic, right? So that's what they're designed for. That's what they're made for. And there's a lot of areas I know where there's pedestrian traffic and there's others, but the first part of the process is for vehicles, right? Like that is get from point A to point B. That's what our roads are designed for. So not saying that pedestrians aren't in any way, shape, or form any less important on my radar, pardon my pun, but we still have to always remember that the roads are designed first and foremost for transportation. So I don't know.
We're also seeing a lot more of right now are cyclists. There's been a real uptake in cycling, especially in our area. Yes, Brent, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I'd be curious at your conversation with the sergeant tomorrow, Jen, just about more clarification on the community safety zones. Just I think that could be a good implementation. But as Tim said, it first off, it's the enforcement end of it. Like I see speeders all the time sitting on my back porch going down 4th Street, and that's a 50 zone. And same as coming up Bonnechere Street. On both ends of it, that's like in town, especially you have your 41, you have your Bonnechere East and West, and traffic definitely flies through. So we do have a lot of, real estate's phenomenal in our area, and you have a lot of families moving out because it's economical to live. So we definitely are having a lot more families moving to the area. So I think we can definitely look at how we can have more of a community safety zone. I think that's a really good way to implement it. And I think there's a difference between seeing that sign and just another 50 zone. I think that would definitely help, especially on our main areas. So I just like more information so we can go out of it. And I don't disagree with the suggestion of putting the radar sign out. And so we can make the correct determination if it's going from an 80 to a 50 as well.
Basically, that sign should be out every single week at a different location.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Merv, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to suggest the same thing, that we monitor and see exactly what's going on. The last time we put it out closer to Bonnechere Lodge, where it'd be just normal to slow down. I would put it on the flat swamp area after you cross the railroad tracks. About halfway through, there's a driveway into my property on the right-hand side. Set it in the driveway about halfway through the swamp and see how fast they are going actually on the straight stretches before they have to slow down for Bonnechere Lodge.
Right. Okay, good discussion, everybody. And as I said, I had community safety zones as the third item on my agenda for my meeting tomorrow. So I'm not sure what the legality is. Like, I'm not sure if we're just allowed to put up that sign or if it has to be sanctioned by the MTO or the OPP. So I wanted some more information on those particular signs. Yes, Merv?
I think it has to be sanctioned and it has to be bylaw. They have it at Lake Clear.
Yes.
They have it
Yes.
at Lake Clear.
Done years and years and years ago.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. Yeah. Anyway, I will find out tomorrow.
So
All right. So go ahead, Annette.
I just want to clarify actions forward. So we're putting out the speed in terms of this request. We're putting out the speed spy to see what's going on there before we move forward on, and we're finding out more about community safety zones before we move forward with whether or not we want to change the speed or what's happening there. So we're in a gathering information stage.
Tim, go ahead.
I think it's absolutely crucial we do that, because if not, we're going to find our whole municipality in a 40 zone. I mean, because everyone will say, well, why did you do that area? We have to do our due diligence or research to make sure that before we take a major step in a reduction on speed, especially a 30 kilometer an hour reduction, that we're doing it for a really good reason, right? Because if we start reducing in all areas that have some people walking, pretty soon we'll have nobody driving. So we have to balance that as well on, where
So
we.
Jay, maybe deploy it to Bonnechere Lodge first,
Yes,
but definitely Fourth Shoot needs to see it, and Augsburg Road. And if Let Cemetery Road was in Bonnechere Valley, I would be putting it there as well. North Algona put one up as you're coming southbound, and people are just flying by it. So I don't know what's going on right now, but the speeding has gotten exponentially worse.
Thank you.
All right, so carry on, Jay, you're at number 6, I believe.
yes. The gravel application has been completed, and the rest of the calcium is ordered and will be put down.
Great.
Winter sand
All
has
right,
been
so
completed.
winter sand has been completed as well. That's great, Jay.
Yes.
So we had a couple of extra things for you. Was it you talking about dump carts? Oh, sorry, Jack.
We had the salt.
There's a second page there, Jen, 8, 9, 10.
Oh my
Well,
gosh,
well-
I'm sorry. I'm working off my iPad and it doesn't, you have to actually open it up again. Sorry. Go ahead, Jay, number 8.
I've received quotations for the pavement markers, excuse me, on the corner of Queen and Wellington, and the corner of Wellington onto Alice. We would need 25 of the markers. They're two-way markers, same as what's down at the bank, at a cost of $15,875 plus taxes.
Jason, I'm going to assume that you don't have this kind of coin in your budget right now.
No, this would be something we would have to budget for. They
Okay.
will be also coming back
Go ahead.
to apply the ones that popped out. Yeah.
Yes, Jack, go ahead.
I'd just like to make a comment on those markers. I've talked to a few of the local truckers, actually. One was Glenn Yon and the other was James. And their opinion is it's the design of the road. And for them to not go up on the sidewalk, they actually have to cross over the line anyways. If not, they actually do damage. Their tires actually climb up on top and then they have a possibility of doing damage to their tires. So in their opinion, there's really no point in putting markers there. They figure if we're going to spend money like that, we should acquire property from the church and make that corner more so that it's more feasible for the truckers instead of them climbing up on top of the sidewalk. If they're going to stay in their lane, they basically said they have to climb up on top of the sidewalk. I don't know. I don't drive, but this is what 2 of the local truckers told me. And they said I could go ahead and use their name. So
Okay,
When
Tim, go ahead.
when I was talking to Glenn, he was glad to see the markers the last time because it was keeping people in their lane. So I'll have to revisit and talk with Glenn again on this, but I do know if I have opposing traffic on their side of the road, I can make that corner quite comfortably with my truck and trailer. So it's when the people are on the wrong side of the road or when the lines are gone that they seem to crowd that to push me over. And so, hey, if they're having a tough go keeping it on their own side, I'll have to, like I said, revisit that again. But okay.
Going southbound, I'm finding myself now doing that corner properly because of the markers. So I don't know how the truckers feel necessarily because I haven't spoken to them except for Tim. But for just me driving an SUV, I do find it makes that corner safer. I'm sorry, Brent, I missed your hand up there. Go ahead.
No worries. But no, I it's something I'd probably table till next year,
Yeah.
anyways, for next year's budget. But no, for me driving up and speaking with some of the contractors I use to drive larger vehicles, dump trucks, stuff like that. That bend, it's in any vehicle, it's really like how they look at it and how I look at it has always just been, it's a way to keep the other side of the traffic. These people zoom. It's the same thing we were just talking about. It's enforcement coming from Alice to Patrick to Queen. People just fly down that. They go on the other side. And then when you're turning left into Wellington, where I live, people just fly down. Sometimes you have to speed up because they're just zooming down. So in my opinion, a lot of it comes down to enforcement, but the markers keep people in smaller vehicles, in my opinion, to the other side of the road. But no, that in that road specifically where you're speaking to, Jack, from Alice to Patrick, that one has always been people just zoom down. And I always go back to enforcement. And I will say, in the last probably 2 months, I've seen the OPP sitting on Wellington Street by the old schoolyard and looking at Wellington, getting people coming down that hill. So I will say I have seen the OPP on Wellington coming down Alice and Patrick. So that is nice to see because I haven't seen that for probably 3 years. So.
Okay, so obviously this is a budget item for you for next year, Jason. So we'll leave that, and perhaps all of us can talk to different people about how they feel about these markers. Because quite frankly,
Hey, what do I know? I only drive a truck.
I don't, well, but
Yeah.
but Tim, this isn't only about you and your
No.
colleagues. What I'm saying is that it's actually changed the way I drive when I get across the bridge.
Like I say, I see it firsthand all the time. I do know once they're there, and it's always the time when the yellow line is removed from the road that people forget what side that they're driving on. And that's when the crowding takes place. And Glenn specifically said to me before, he said, thanks, Tim, he said, for getting those put on, because it saves the money on my tires from crowding up when people are coming down on the wrong side of the road. So I don't know if it's that the way he presented it to you the last time there, Jack, or was it just me hearing something?
no, he's in agreement with the markers at the bridge. He's in agreement with that, Tim. It's the markers from the upper road. He said they're not going to work because he has to cross over the line if the tires will crowd up on the.
See, Glenn has a 53-foot trailer, but James has a 48, the same as me.
Yeah. So, okay.
All
That's
right.
all.
So an item for next year, and we can do some research before then. All right, Jay.
Number 9, bridge rehab project is on track. Tenders are to be submitted by September 9th, 2020.
And Jason, do we have an idea? I know that obviously it'll depend on the contractor. Are they gonna do one lane at a time, or will we be rerouted through Gristmill?
As of right now, I believe they will be rerouting through Gristmill and John.
Okay, thank you for that.
That'll
Because I
should
know
speed
that when the water and sewer were being done, you know, we may need some line painting on John and Mill, just, you know, as we were just talking about coming over the line. And when we had done the water and sewer, I know specifically of one person that almost had a mirror on mirror crash, just because they weren't necessarily in the correct lane. So if that could be done in anticipation of this project, just to keep people in their own lanes, that would be great.
Yes.
Thank you.
Number 10, Windsor Salt has offered the township a 5-year pricing agreement at a 3% increase per year. Presently, we are paying $104 a ton plus tax for 2021 season. With the new arrangement, the pricing will be $100.50 for 2021, $103.50 for 21 to 22, $106.65 for 22 to 23, $109.80 for 23 to 24, and $113.10 for 24 and 25 seasons.
So in your opinion, is this an excellent deal? Because it seems like a good deal to me, but I'm not in the market for buying Township salt.
Well, it's not going to go down. It's always going to go up, and depending on, you know, the price, if the mines could get flooded again, the price is going to go up, and it's going to get harder and harder to get.
That was going to be my other question. Does this get us priority if something catastrophic happens like happened 2 years ago?
We will be guaranteed a certain tonnage for the years.
Okay.
And we do have other connections if that does fail, if we do have to run over.
Okay. Yes, Jack.
I'm just wondering, what is our average tonnage for the year of salt anyways, Jason, like an average year? I know it varies year to year, but average.
Averages, Jack, it averages between 600 to 900 or 1,000.
Okay.
And it all depends on the winter and how soon it comes and freezing rain and you know what else comes with it.
Yeah, yep.
Tim? Or-
Jason, do we have a minimum that we have to purchase?
Yeah.
Per the-
Yes,
No, there is no minimum.
Okay, so it's pretty much if we don't order a certain amount, we aren't gonna have to get stuck paying for it, which
That's
is
right.
okay, perfect. That was one of the concerns I had. And then is there in the agreement, is there a breaking clause? Like if for some reason salt goes down dramatically, I'm not a salt expert, but what is there, or is it a 5-year commitment or like?
It's a 5-year commitment.
Okay.
I think it seems reasonable, but I will defer to council to see. This would be staff direction, correct, Annette?
So we would move forward because it's a sole source purchase. Now there's not very many salt suppliers out there, so it's barely a sole source purchase, but
That's right.
we'd have to have that resolution come forward at the council meeting following the committee.
Okay, thank you. So is anybody opposed to this agreement? Okay, so let's, yes, Merv, go ahead.
I'm not opposed to it. I'm just, I had a son-in-law that was head of maintenance at Georgian College, and a couple of years ago, we were talking the price of salt, the difficulty with salt. He maintained doing bulk purchases like that was the cheapest.
Well, and we did find at county, because we were already in the queue, that when this catastrophe happened with the flooding, that we were still able to get salt. So I think, all right, so yes, Brett, go ahead.
The only other question is there is there a way to speak with other maybe municipalities? Like, since we have to put a resolution, is there a way that we're gonna get better pricing to go to other municipalities, or is it worth our time?
Yes, Jason, go ahead.
So what happened was, the county actually, got their pricing, and somehow it kind of got out to other townships, and then the phone was ringing at the supplier, and they committed to dropping the price down for everyone in the county.
Oh,
Yep.
okay, perfect. I have no problem with doing it. I think it's be good for us.
And it did sound like, I'm not on that particular committee, but it did sound like there was going to be some economies of scale to deliver to all the municipalities that chose to participate.
That's right.
So, all right, excellent. So thank you for that, Jason. Merv, you wanted to talk to Jason about the dump cards.
Yeah, I hope we've been trying to correct something. We haven't created a monster. For instance, I've got 2 properties, residence and farm. With the tax bill, I get 2 dump cards. Maybe people have more properties, maybe get 2 or 3 dump cards. Now, let's hope everybody is honest, but I only need 1 dump card, and I got a relative living in Naw right by there. Here's your dump card. You can go to Boncher Valley. And there's no way of controlling it.
Yeah, we also got 2 because we own 2 different properties.
You probably have got 2 dump cards as well.
Yes, I would hope that people wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I
but
would
your-
hope so as well.
Your
I would hope so
point
as well.
is noted. Yes,
Anyway,
Chad?
The thing you gotta remember though, Merv, even with that, the dump card, you still have to go and get an additional green card to check it off. So how are you gonna get a green card? You know, you have to go to get it.
But
You know, the people, when you come in, they know who you are at the office to pick it up, really, you know? So
Unless you buy a card at the dump.
I think the error is far and few in between, really, but how else you gonna do it? Because it's impossible for all the young lads to know the people at the dump, right? If they don't know them, they have to have.
Yes.
a way to identify them, right?
But
Yes, Merv.
oh,
Yes, Merv?
yeah, but it's also impossible for people at the township to know everybody personally. And you can go down to the 2 places that are providing dumps, bag stickers, and they don't question where you're from. Print your money, take your stickers, and away you go.
Brent, did you have your hand up?
no, I'm good.
Okay,
Let's hope it doesn't happen. Let's just hope.
let's hope it doesn't happen. Yeah, I like to think people are more honest than that, but anyway.
I like 2 cards, one for the car and one for the truck.
Well, Dave said I could put one in my truck and one in his truck. The Tahoe has never been to the dump, and I would like to think nor would it ever be. So the last thing I have is the last minute piece of correspondence we received from the Women's Sexual Assault Monument people. There's been a lot of vandalism at the Glass Monument in Centennial Park. There was some discussion amongst their committee about us putting up cameras. Apparently, some of the people that visit these monuments don't like cameras. And one of the things that they have found is that a community garden with a little plaque explaining what it is has actually cut down on some of the vandalism. So the ask of the township is, would the roads department have a little bit of time to dig a plot for a small community garden? Their timeline is they want to do the unveiling on September 22nd, which of course is the 5-year anniversary of that horrible day. And so that's what they were asking for in terms of our contribution, and they would bring their own people in to do the garden. I'm not sure if Jason has time. I don't know what their timeline is to plant the garden. I would leave that up to Jason and Annette, but I don't know what your feeling is, guys. Brent?
No, I took a walk to Centennial yesterday, so the only confusion I had was like, I have no problem putting a perennial bed in. I don't know if, I'd rather see it done by volunteers and by their organization rather than township staff. I have no problem doing a perennial bed. Reason, and I'll give you the reason why I don't want township staff to do it. It's the same as the volunteers doing the stuff at McCrae's Park. It's just putting it in. But there's also there's the signage for the Pebble Monument directly across from it in the one garden that's right beside it. So my question is, instead of having I don't know if the rock's going to prevent vandalism, and that's the only thing. So maybe move the sign that's existing there and put it over that explains that it's one of 4 Pebble monuments. That's the only question I kind of had, was that, like, do we need the 2 signs there that explains the same thing? That's the only thing. But I have no problem with perennial garden. I think it makes sense, and I'm glad they chose not to do cameras. But the perennial bed makes total sense. I think it looked great. Be staff time does it or not. My preference would be not to, just because I think we should do the exact same as we've done with the EACDG. So.
Okay. Any other comments? Yeah, I'm not sure whether they were asking for Jason and his crew because it's our park and they were concerned. I can certainly check in with Joe Brooks. Perhaps it's just a matter of having their volunteers go out and maybe have Jason just go out and say, where do you want this, so that they're not overtaking something, and that it's okay for not only Jay's crew, but also Parks and Rec in mowing the lawn. So
well, I was going to say, it'd probably make more sense to have Kevin oversee the project the same as he did the bathroom facility, and same as he did with McCrae's Park. Oversee what they want to do and get involved. What my point was saying is just in case, like, it's just more township staff time. But that's what I'm saying. I have no problem with supervising it.
Yeah.
yes, Tim.
Yeah, so yeah, as long as we have Kevin and Jason, give the right location and the dimensions and stuff to make sure that it's okay with the rest of what's going on there, then that would make more sense, right? Than have our guys just go and dig it. So maybe
Okay,
just an oversight.
And I think that was sort of the meat and potatoes of the ask. So perhaps, Annette, could I ask you to contact Joe and just let her know that we would prefer that, if their volunteers can do it, we will certainly send out rec and park and roads to ensure that the space that they want it is reasonable and okay, especially for our Parks and Rec department to mow around it, etc. Do you mind doing that for us?
No problem.
That's great. Thank you. All right. Is there anything further for Jason? Okay, seeing none. Thank you, Jay. Have a great afternoon. Let us know about Fourth Shoot.
Will do.
Thank you.
Have a good day, guys.
Thanks,
You
Jason.
too. Yes, Jack. Jack, you're on mute.
I know, I was just saying bye to Jason, that's all.
Oh,
Jen, could we take a 2-minute break there?
yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, 2 minutes, everyone.
Are we offline?
I'm on mute. We're still on, but we're just taking a break.
Okay.
You can hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Perfect.
Okay, welcome back. We're just waiting for Merv to come. There's Merv. And we need Tim. And Kevin has left his office.
I had to check my sod crew, make sure they're still laying sod. So.
Oh,
What do you got to tell them? Green side up?
Yep. Actually, Merv, back for that was 5 years ago in Cornwall. I was walking through a house to buy, and they had the drywall brown side showing, so they had that on backwards. I've never seen drywall hung backwards first.
Oh my God.
what?
Yeah,
They're
so
a reputable contractor?
I have no clue, but it's the
Oh,
same.
come on.
No, I'm not even kidding you. Then they had duct tape for parts of their drywall seams. Like it was a real interesting house.
It was a charmer, right?
Well,
I
I'm
didn't buy it
terrible
off-
at mudding. So that would be my trick. I would use duct tape because I'm terrible with mud tape.
Yeah, but it was. But yeah, no, it was the only time I've ever seen brown side showing. So
That's
Oh, my.
very funny. Just need Tim back.
I was almost scared to push mute on mine because last time I did it went all garbly.
You're not garbly now. You're good.
Okay, good.
All right.
good.
Welcome
Yeah.
back, everyone.
Oh.
Hey, Kev.
Hello, how's everybody
All
today?
right. Good. How are you doing?
Very well, very well.
Excellent. I have to admit, Kevin, when I first read your report, I thought it said that yoga in the park was from 8:30 to 9:30 p.m. And I went to bed that night thinking, boy, that's really late for yoga.
Yeah. That's their new security.
Exactly. Yeah. No, that sounds good. Who's doing it?
Susan Owen is the lady's name.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
that's Kevin Martin's mother-in-law. Nice.
okay. No, she 10 to 15 people on most days. It depends. The weather's good. There's more, but no, it's been.
Where are they doing it?
Actually, they're doing it just to the, behind the monument on the left-hand side as you cross the bridge. Up where it's
Okay.
the shaded area beside the gazebo
Yeah.
kind of deal. It's a good spot, nice flat location, like, you know. So it's a good location, good location.
Nice. I might partake in that. Do we know how much it is?
That I do not know.
Hmm.
I don't know.
I'll contact Susan. Thank you for that. Sorry, guys, I took us offline there for a sec. It sounds great. So for those of you that are watching, there is yoga in Centennial Park on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings from 8:30 to 9:30 a.m. Nice thing to get out and do. You can socially distance doing it. Fantastic.
Anyways, am I good to start my report kind of deal?
Yeah.
Anyways, my report's fairly straightforward. Maintenance and that is still slowing down. The flowers, our girls are doing an awesome job considering the conditions of the weather we've been having, and we've been getting rain, so it's been looking good. So that's hats off for them. Up at the Legion field, Taste of the Valley, we're kind of waiting. Don't really know exactly as of yet. But anyways, I'm hoping soon. Farmers Market's doing quite well. McCrae Park maintenance, everything kind
Can
of
I
deal.
just ask, wasn't our Taste of the Valley supposed to be August 28th?
That is correct.
That's really soon.
That's right. So
Oh.
anyways, cross our fingers. That's all we can do.
COVID ruins everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
mean, something that we were so excited to finally get in the village of Eganville in Bonnechere Valley, you know, anyway, I'm gonna have t-shirts made up. COVID ruins everything.
True. We had a bit of a garbage issue up at Cormac Park. I put up some signs, and anyways, that's all I can really do, and monitor it, keep on top of it. So Gary, the custodian that looks after the cuts the grass there, I said, if you see something suspicious, just let me know, and we'll see if we can follow up on it. And anyways, I posted signs.
Yes, Tim.
Speaking of Cormac Park there, Kevin, I've noticed a lot of the little roadside parks on the highway that are very busy this year. Has Cormac Park been getting a lot of use by the look of what's coming in and out there?
Well, it's hard to say that for Tim. I'm sure it is. Gary keeps a pretty good tab on it. It's like every other parks, I'm sure, is like ours. Lots of people stop and have lunch or whatever. They pull in. So for garbage, yes, he says he's like, you know, he checks it and changes the garbage can. So I'm sure it is, Tim.
Okay, because yeah, like Two E's and others there that I go past, they're always full. So
Yeah.
you know, here especially, I've noticed because there's very little for people to do. There seems to be a lot of people driving around. So
I know our Centennial Park here in town, the parking lot is lots of times it's half full or completely full, and people are taking their lunches into the park and on the picnic table. So it's getting lots of use.
Good.
I was going to use Two E's as an example as well, and the one at the south end of Griffith is always busy as well.
Absolutely, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, little pit stops.
Yes.
Opiongo Park, I've had an inquiry about using the facility to do the Lake Hillier Property Association just to have their meeting. Anyways, I was talking this morning, all they're really looking for is power right now, an outside receptacle. I don't see a great issue with that. They were looking for a PA system, and I said, well, that's a different story, but they seem to have that looked after. But anyways, what's everybody's input or feeling on them using the facility, the ball field?
I'll open this up for discussion. I too had a concern about the PA system. Do we normally rent that park, say for ball? For
not
games or
not really, Jen, for any rental on that. A lot of the neighbors, like, you know, use it and we maintain it kind of deal. They look after it. The Opeongo Heritage Society has the building kind of deal, and they usually have a student there kind of deal. So rented out in the past, and not to my knowledge.
Okay, yes, Merv, go ahead.
Do we have to install an outside plug, or is there one already there?
There'll be one there, Merv. It's just a matter
Okay.
of making sure that it's
Turn it
turned
on.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yes, Jack. You're on mute, Jack.
The
Jack,
only, should be off mute now, right?
yep.
The only issue I have with that, Kevin, is if they're scheduling the ball field for other activities, how do you make sure that they're not going to be in conflict with other people that are using it at the same time? Like, who monitors the scheduling of it? Because are they going to be out on the ball field, or where are they going to do this?
They're going to do it on the ball field, because I understand there may be 50 to 60 people kind of deal, or a few more. I'm not 100% sure, but yes, on the ball field.
Yeah, but so who's responsible for scheduling the park if we don't monitor it? Who does that? You'd have to make sure there's not a conflict, right?
That's right. Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Like, so whoever's looking after it there would have to be made aware of, and they'd have to get in contact with the Lake Clear Property Association so that they could arrange a time that suits them, because I imagine Lake Clear probably wants to do this on a Saturday, I would imagine.
Yeah, yes, they do. It's the Saturday, August the 29th.
So they'd have to be made aware that in case there were going to be a ball tournament or something, that they can't have it, right? Or whatever.
That's correct.
You can't have a conflict. So who monitors that up there?
No, well, we maintain it. Do I monitor it all the time? Not necessarily.
No, but who schedules the tournaments and all that? The time on the field?
There is really no scheduling on that. What goes on in the past, sometimes they do a donation, and that's where some of the money came from the play structure for up there, that they did a fundraiser kind of deal, run ball tournaments. So
yeah, but I don't understand, Kevin. Is it a first come first served basis, or do they enter their name in the book, so they're booking for the weekend or that weekend? Like, how is this done?
It's never been done like that in the past, Jack. We've never really had an issue.
Yeah, but somebody has to be home. I think all of a sudden you could have 2 or 3 people wanting to play ball, 2 different
Well,
terms.
that's where I was coming from, Jack, is that the demand for that park is really the people that live there, and they go out and they play ball. So how are we ensuring that we're not impeding something that they've already organized? That's my concern, because it does get used more often than I actually realized. Anyway, go ahead, Brent.
I was going to say, the only if they wanted to use it, the only way I guess to give proper notice would just be to figure out the exact time that they want to go there, and just say, put a little sign up that says reserved this time.
Yeah.
The only issue with that is we aren't reserving it for anyone else. So that's where the issue lies. But is there any spot that they can go to, or is that the only one? Like, does someone not have a big enough property for them to go to? I'm sure some of them do. I'm sure they have probably more access to power, but that's just
Well,
I was just gonna say, there's gotta be private property somewhere where they can do it, instead of a ball field where people are playing ball, right? So.
Well, and
Well-
they normally have it at Whispering Pines inside, but when I read this, I wondered, what about Whispering Pines in the middle of that big, huge yard at Cubby's? I don't know. Jack, go ahead.
I just think, Kevin, we have to get in contact with who's running it up there and just see if it's going to be available. It's that simple. Somebody has to be looking after it. Like, contact, if you want me to contact Danny, or you can contact somebody to find out who's scheduling the field, so that you can see if it's available on that day. That's basically all there is to it.
Yeah,
right?
not a problem. We can.
There are a few of them. I mean, Danny's one of them. Stacy's another. You know, they generally know when they're going out, right? They bring the kids out and so I see where Jack's from, but I did wonder about the center of Whispering Pines, because that's where they always have it anyway. I wasn't sure why they weren't using that yard.
Maybe it's the
Yes,
playground.
ma'am.
Maybe it's the playground.
What's that?
I said, maybe it's the new playground.
They don't generally bring kids.
Okay, well, I can,
Jack?
that's not a problem.
Sorry, Jack wanted something.
It's just realistically, I'm sure Danny's going to be going to this thing anyways, because he's part of it. So like,
Right.
it's just a matter of clarifying with him and he'd know what's going on because I'm sure he's aware of this AGM. So it's a simple phone call, you know.
Okay.
I don't have a problem with them using that ball field, you know, for, you know.
Okay, not a problem. I'll make a few phone calls and, anyways, so if there's not a conflict, we do not have a problem with the Lake Clear Cottage Association using the facility.
I have no problem with it as long as there's no ball tournament planned.
Okay.
As you know, that is a group that contributed to that play structure. And if they're using it and they make a donation, I don't want to stop them. But certainly, yeah, if it's not in use.
Just to let everybody know, since the ball fields were closed down and the netting up there is not put up, so whoever does use that ball field is got to be very conscientious, or because the netting isn't up right now, and I don't. Do we
Right.
need to put the netting up now? So, anyways, I'll make that point. I'll let them know what on that situation.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so the arena, I've been touching base with Ryan. A few of the little things that he would like to get done, and we're trying to do the best we can. Working with minor hockey and figure skating to accommodate, and it's been going well. We've adjusted, made some rooms. Everybody's quite hot, like, you know, we're making it work. Ryan is inquiring about a structure over the timekeeper's box for a telecast of the games. So anyways, he said he'd look after footing the bill for the structure and putting it together. Anyways, I got a hold of Mark and Nathan Lefebvre, and we're going to come tomorrow and see if it's feasible, number one, and we want to do it structurally sound. So he's coming to take a look at it tomorrow. So and once we get that done, I can go back to Ryan and say, okay, here's where we are, and get some prices on it and see what direction we're heading in. There's lots of the return to play. It's interesting times. Some rinks have went ahead and sort of set out a template in Renfrew County. A lot of the places are saying kids are coming dressed to the rink, walk in and put their skates on out in the spectators location. So nothing's in stone yet on that regulation, but there's lots of other regulations they're trying to impose, and it's a work in progress. Been touching base with the health unit to make sure we're all on the same page, kind of deal, moving forward. It's going to be interesting. I'm not sure exactly when we're going to get going. I'm not going to set a date, because once you say a date, you're going to be held to that, or is it just easier to hold off? We're going to hold off as long as we can. Normally we start up, normally I have ice by the 19th of September. I don't know if that's going to be a firm date as of yet, but we'll have to wait and see what goes on with that.
Kevin, is the canteen allowed to be open?
The canteen, it's like everything else. Yeah, you can open it, but the restrictions are implemented. It's at the end of the day, you sort of scratch your head and say, wow. like, and all that's changed.
Yes, Brent, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I probably, my preference, Kevin, would be to stick to the original schedule and just get the ice in as regular. Kids are going back to school, so I'm sure that all the hockey rinks can figure it out as well. But no, pertaining to the canteen, like, we're break even there. So my question would be, are we gonna run the canteen, or are we gonna maybe ask to put in a couple more vending machines, or what's the game plan there? Just because if it's not feasible to have the canteen open, the regulations are way too much, then maybe we just try out a couple more vending machines and then see how that goes. And then if for the junior B games, maybe they're interested in helping run it or do it. But these are options to look at as well. But my recommendation, this is only myself, would be just stick to our normal schedule and get the ice ready. I would love to see nothing more than kids playing some hockey. So.
The only concern I have once we start and get everything going is I want to make sure that we have sufficient ice time booked in all the time. Right now, the junior Bs are kind of saying October the 1st kind of deal, what the regulations are before they can actually do full ice tryouts kind of deal. Right now, in our facility, we can only have 50 people. So until that regulation changes, it's minor hockey right now. The lower levels are talking half ice. We want to be cautious on how we move forward with this. I don't know how it's going to go.
All right. Yes, Annette.
Kevin, just a question. Is there any, so if you're saying normally we have the ice in by the 19th of September, if we had it in, let's say by the 30th of September, like, are there any savings to putting the ice off? I know September is still a warm month. There's still people spending a lot of time outside. Is there potential savings if we put it off?
Well, I think absolutely, and that if we back it up a little bit, it's going to give time for things to sort of settle down. We'll see how things unravel, because everybody, we're all in all this together. Like, all the rinks are sort of just moving one day at a time, kind of looking ahead and trying to get a plan together. I was talking to our neighbors in Barry's Bay. We work a lot together, and they had a meeting same time as we had a meeting here last night with minor hockey. So there's lots of changes, and some of the changes are still being made.
But I mean, as far as just hydro and making ice and the costs, it's to put the ice in, is there a savings if we postpone for 2 weeks? Like, if we have it open to the normal time and nobody's on it till October, is there savings if we did put it off for 2 weeks in that kind of way?
Absolutely.
Okay, and will we not know better at our first meeting in September? Can we revisit this? I'm not sure if Kevin's at our first meeting, but if he's not, I think we need to schedule him for that meeting. We recognize that all of these things are a moving target, but knowing that the junior Bs really want to get in there, and I'm sure the skating club would like to get going as well as minor hockey. I would really like to revisit this in the next couple of weeks, or I guess the next few weeks, because as Kevin said, it is sort of day over day. Yes, Jack.
The question I think we need to know too, Kevin, is how long does it take when we say go for you to get the ice in and ready? Like, is this?
It's ideally, Jack, about 8-9 days. We can get that. And you know what? Last year it was god awful hot. I was bringing water onto the ice surface at 20 Celsius. So some days I could only get 2 floods on because it wasn't freezing. It was just too warm. So absolutely, if it's cooler outside, it goes better. There's no doubt about it. Yeah. But
so you're saying you need 10 days. So if our target date is 1st of October, we basically have to go, the 20th of September. So
okay.
that
does give us time, though.
Yeah. And I've been already talking to Simcoe, and I have Simcoe, and they have us kind of penciled in for the 8th of September right now, just to have that confirmed. But anyways, like every week makes a difference right now. Things can change pretty quick with a phone call. So yeah, we're good to go at this level or whatever. So all the recreation departments, the smaller ones, it's a challenge. It's a challenge.
Okay, so let's revisit this in a few weeks.
And if there's any big changes come, as soon as I know, I'll let Annette know, and we'll pass it on if there's any big changes.
That's great, Kevin. Thank you.
The tourist information booth. It was a great weekend. I was talking to Nick Monday morning. Anyways, it was quite successful. Anyways, he was quite happy, and he put it out that if he has another date that he's available, that he'd be interested in coming back. So that's a good that it was beneficial for him to be here.
Just as a side note, we do need to make sure that all the neighbors in the very near vicinity are aware. And there were a lot of rumors swirling that this was a test run for a permanent home for beaver tails, and that rumor had to be put to bed. But I did enjoy my beaver tail, so thank you, Annette. Yes, Brent, go ahead.
I was gonna say, everyone I spoke to, and I actually spoke to the other direct neighbors to it as well, and they were actually chainsawing behind the beaver tails all weekend. And it's an inverter, it wasn't a generator they're running. So I actually spoke directly to other neighbors that were in vicinity, and they actually all absolutely loved it. They thought it was a great idea. They thought it was great for the community. End of the day, if someone, I would welcome more. And if people have other suggestions, local businesses want to set up shop, then I'm more than happy. But you can't please everyone. And end of the day, I thought it was very well received in our community, and everyone that I've talked to thought it was a great idea. And I'd like to see more of it. And I'd like to see more businesses. And if we have to send a notice out and not only have an Eganville leader, but have a council meeting and having our minutes and having our agenda and have a conversation to it. We can't please everyone, but end of the day, the neighbors that were in the vicinity actually really enjoyed it because I spoke to multiple of them. So
actually, when I was there, they were chainsawing in their front yard.
Yep. Yeah, and I spoke to all the kids of them too. Some of them work for the company as well, and so I've spoken directly. And actually, you know what? I know a lot of my neighbors went to as well, so it's really well received. And if there's any other businesses out there that have any other ideas, then I'm all ears.
I ate mine like it was my last meal. Go ahead, Tim.
Yeah, actually, I took note on social media. Even other businesses collaborated with Beaver Tails in combining coupons and stuff as well. And there were so many people with their pictures of their beaver tails, putting them on social media. I almost went there, but it would have been a given if I did. But I enjoyed mine too. So I know Jenna was up three times. And you know me.
Mine didn't have time to get photographed.
So no, mine didn't either. So but anyway, you know the way I am in food and social media. But it was absolutely delicious, and no, it was very positively received from everyone that I have talked to as well.
Yeah, I think we should give a shout out. Eganville's finest.
Absolutely.
Ice cream. They were doing a collaborative effort to drive people to Beaver Tails, knowing that this was a really good fundraiser for our Eganville Food Bank. And did anybody mention the amount? I think it was upwards of $450 to the food bank, correct?
Yeah, 460, Jen.
There you go.
One thing I would stress in the future though is maybe put that into their advertising as well, because I had when Trina was ordering, I told her, these they're doing a fundraiser for the food bank as well. And, not too many people knew that. So had they known that, maybe that would have even driven it up a little bit more.
Yeah, we needed some more signage too, because it's sort of hidden in the back corner. Yes, Brent, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, and like for example, someone had mentioned just about, for example, what we're receiving. So I think like for payment, and that was one of the things probably just clear out for next time. And I ran the numbers for the individual that asked me about, just because they asked about property tax owners and stuff like that. And I put as perspective saying $400. I said, you extend that over a 365-day period, you're like 50 grand. So I said they're definitely paying a lot for that small piece of property. And I definitely welcome more people to show interest in doing it as well, local business or out of town businesses.
All right. So that's $60. Tim, you were only like what, 350 of it?
Hey, I'm proud to help the cause for sure. It was absolutely delicious.
Just one other thing to talk, just bring you update on our golf tournament. Phenomenal. It's amazing. People are very, very generous. Anyways, right now we have 98 players registered.
Wow.
That's
So,
awesome.
and I know I think we're going to be we're going to be over the 100, but we have 98 right now, and it's awesome, incredible.
So, Kevin, can you just do the logistics of Friday for me? Normally I go early in the morning and greet people, but if there's not a shotgun start, they're starting at 11 and they're going off at 10 or 15 minute tee off time.
Yeah, we're starting, and I have now. This is, I haven't talked to Derek yet today, but we said 11. Anyways, about every 8 to 9 minutes is going to be a team.
Okay.
To spurt like out in the field. So yes, it's going to be a lot different this year. But at the end of the day, I'm glad we did it this way because the numbers, like, you know, this is phenomenal.
Yeah. So what time do you think people will be coming back in for a barbecue?
Well, and that's
there mid-afternoon.
And that's the thing. That's a little tricky, Jen, because if they start at 11, it takes, everybody's a little different, but approximately 4 hours to do 18 holes. So is there any wrong time? No, because there's going to be people coming through all the time.
Okay.
Anyways, like I'm going to be there right at the start too. Now, if you want to be there right at the start for the initial, like, you know, half an hour kind of deal, and just greet people, because there's lots of returning people, but there's lots of new faces coming out, and it's going to be good to like, you know, appreciate them to be here, because it's this pretty special times right now for everybody.
Okay, well then, Kevin, I am rethinking this now. Then I will be there at 11 o'clock with you.
Yeah. And we still have you up. Pardon me.
Oh, do you have me on hole 2?
Yeah. Yes, again.
Great. Eventually, I am going to have a Sharpie mustache or horns.
Yeah.
Yes, Jack.
So Kevin, this is basically, it's just a running tournament every 8 minutes?
8-9 minutes.
They're all starting off at number 1 then? Is that the way they're doing it?
I do believe so, Jack. I think he's gonna run a front. I think this may have changed a little bit, but I think that's where he's going to go, is do a front and a back, like, you know, a back 9, but just keep everybody going.
Oh, so he's going to start front and back 9 and then
I do believe that's
Okay.
what we last.
That makes more sense. Yeah.
But then take about an hour and a half for everybody to get off. At 8 minutes, right? If you take your number of teams.
Yeah, and then to go through.
Yeah, no, to start even the rotation.
Oh, okay. Yes. Yeah.
8 minutes. It's going to take an hour and a half for them to get going, right? 11. Last group will probably be off about 12:30, 1:45.
Yeah. So we haven't laid it all out yet, but that's kind of the game plan. And it's, anyways, I haven't talked to him yet today. I'm like, you know, we could get another 2 teams. I don't know. So, but that's where we are right now.
That's incredible. Yes, go ahead, Merv.
Kevin, would you like me there at around 11 o'clock as well?
Yes, that'd be perfect.
Maybe we could donate a township computer as one of the prizes, slightly used.
Yeah. Even Merv, if he came, even if he came a little earlier, Pride Marina is going to bring that 4-wheeler out in the morning, so maybe you get a free ride to your location.
Whoa.
Okay. Should I bring my own chair?
I would. Probably
Yes,
more
I did
comfortable.
last year. So.
Yeah.
BYOC, Merv.
Yes.
Tim, did you have your hand up?
I just wanted to know or let everybody know that I don't understand half of your lingo. Not a golfer.
Are you going to come out? Okay, is everybody coming out for at least a burger or dog later on in the afternoon?
I won't be there. I have a
Oh,
commitment.
you just said, right, sorry, you said that.
And I'm in Pembroke.
Merv. Gotcha, okay. Tim, Jack?
I won't be able to make it either.
Tim, just
Okay.
think of it as a leisurely walk spoiled by a little ball.
That's right. That's
I
right.
do enough crazy things in a day without having to worry about chasing a ball around the field.
Depends.
Hey,
Jen, it
does anybody have
depends on-
anything else for Kevin? Excellent, thanks, Kev. We'll see you on Friday.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. All right, does anybody need 2 minutes or are we good to go? We're good? Okay. And we're moving on to the fire chief. And there he is. I'm just gonna fill my water glass while he's.
Hey, Dave. Doing okay? Yeah, I could read lips, but I can't hear you.
There you go. Is that
Sure.
better?
Oh, yeah, we're on.
All right.
Maybe we could organize a trap shoot or something there, Dave.
That would be nice.
That'd be a little easier on my system.
Yeah.
All right, chief, take it away.
Okay, you ready to go? Okay, so as far as our call numbers go, we seem to be right in line with 2018. Last year was a much heavier year, and I think probably because of the drought and the bans. But so we're, either way, we're pretty much we're going in an average direction. So which is good to know. We haven't really had a crazy year, unlike a lot of bigger departments that have been out considerably more because of COVID, because people have been home. When people are at home, that's when they get themselves into trouble generally. So we've been very lucky and fortunate here that people have been playing their stay at home safe this year. So which is good. Some things to note in my report: the new radio system's now installed. So we have the new paging system up in Flymount. The reserve batteries have been tested, and Doug got back to me yesterday that the battery system's fine. So we're good to go there. All of the mobile radios are in vehicles now. So, and everybody has a new handheld. So the only thing we are waiting for is the repeater, which is at the tower in town near the water tower. Some of the components are on back order because the manufacturing facilities in the States shut down because of COVID. So we're waiting on that yet. So hopefully that will be here before winter, because we do have a new housing unit for it, and we want to install everything and make sure it's properly heated before winter. Because right now it's a light bulb that heats it and stops everything from freezing. So we do have a proper system to put in place once that stuff gets here. So hopefully sooner than later. The level 1 fire ban has been dropped it as of Monday. So people are now allowed to get permits. And funny, through all of this, very, very few people have contacted me wanting to burn bigger than a campfire. So I think it's been so hot this year and dry that people have really held off. And I have talked to several people that are waiting until wintertime to burn farmers, they're going to wait till the first or second snowfall to burn. So people have been good and very understanding of why we've put our bans on and when we have. So which has been good. It's good to see that the community understands, when we have to put certain rules in. So I assume everybody read that letter from Muscular Dystrophy. I had them change their contact info. It was fairly old, and this was something that was one of our former firefighters was the contact with MD, was Sid Martel. And so anyway, the contacts are updated now. And as the letter states, I think every other charity is hurting right now because of the pandemic. And anyway, they just reached out to thank us for the amount that we've given them, and hopefully 2021 will be a better year. So generally we give, it's usually a 50-50 type thing. We give to Muscular Dystrophy, and then the rest of it we buy equipment with. So, it's good. At least they're reaching out to say that they know things are tight right now. I have been contacted by a company called Northern Rural Net, and Annette and I have been back and forth discussing what they want is they want access to our tower at the water tower, our repeater tower. They want to put up cell service there. So I've been kind of back and forth with them as far as what they're willing to offer us, what they're willing to do. It sounded really, really good at the beginning. And just going through the emails, they'd said if the tower wasn't in as good a shape as they thought it would be to add equipment to it, that they would replace the tower. They would give the office free internet service. And I'd asked if they would do that, but they would do a monthly fee in lieu of that service, because we do have good internet. I believe we do have good internet service now, and I think it's a package, right? The whole township's on the same kind of package, so I don't know that would really benefit us at all. So I wanted to run it by you guys and see. Now, an email today I got, the final email from them said that no. What they'll do is if they think the tower isn't good, they'll move our tower to the side, put their own tower up, put our equipment on it. And if one day they want to leave, they'll put our old tower back up with our equipment on it. So the benefit, I don't see the benefit to us with this, because they don't want to pay us a monthly rental for the space. And we're not really, we'll have interruption more than anything, because they have to take our equipment down and put it back up. And then there's the issue of that, and if anything ever happened to our equipment that's there right now. So I don't know, just to have free Wi-Fi or free internet to the office building, I'm not sure it's a benefit to us.
Yes, Chad, go ahead.
I don't, Dave, you sort of lost me. What are they going to provide us? Wi-Fi or cellular?
Just free internet to the office.
No, but what is this tower for?
This tower is for that. This tower will be for them. So they want to add to our tower. If our tower is structurally sound, that's where our repeater is. They want to put their equipment on it, use that tower, use that space, and in lieu of a fee, it would be just to give the office free internet.
But who are they, or what are they? They're like a cellular company?
Yeah, they're called Northern Rural Net.
They're not cellular then. They're internet.
They're internet, yeah.
They're internet, so they're not cellular.
Yeah.
So they're an internet provider.
That's right.
So they'd have to be going into some other backbone. Either they're going to go from there into the fiber or somewhere else. So I really I don't see the benefit in it, like you said, because it's really going to cause disruption, and it could cause interference with our units as it is too. You know what I mean? Like we really don't, I just don't see the benefit in it. And I don't see the going to provide internet for people in the village. Is that what it's supposed to be?
Yes, and I've talked to James Markey about it. I know Annette's emailed James about it. I talked to Doug Buchwald, and because of the location being on the hill, we don't need our repeater to necessarily service behind the water tower, because that's not our township back there. So it's broadcast back the other way, our repeater. So it's Doug kind of thinks it's a bit strange that that's where they want to put that because they're very limited in that position. They'd almost want to put something at the top of the tower at the municipal office, which is a much taller tower. But they, for some reason, they've mapped that place out as a suitable spot. And to me, I know Annette had said that, you know, maybe we could put some sort of proposal together for them, but, you know, I specifically asked about expense, if we would be incurring any expense or the ownership of the tower. And if we could actually have a monthly rental for the space as opposed to just getting free internet. And the lady got back to me and said, no, it's the free internet is the offer.
Yeah, I just don't
I
see
got
it being.
Merv, then Brent, then Jack. Go ahead, Merv.
What are they offering? A higher speed internet?
I don't think so. That's not, I think they're probably just offering whatever would be available in town. I think Rogers is a tower in town. Maybe, I don't know if Bell is at all, but
Yeah, they are.
Anyway, it sounds suspicious to me, Dave, is if they're going to put up a tower and let us put on it, and if they're going to take it down the tower and if they, why don't they just put up a tower and take their own tower down and never mind our equipment?
yeah.
Brent?
I was just gonna say, my recommendation would just be to recommend to them to maybe find a private business to do it with, not that we aren't interested at this time. And I'm only speaking for myself, but it sounds a little complicated. Whenever any building that's ever had a cell, like any internet tower, cell tower, anything on it, it's always been a rental fee, no matter the size of it. And just to jump through hoops for free internet for us, and then have the guarantee that if it doesn't work out, they're going to reassemble it after. Generally, that doesn't work out very well when we don't utilize a service anymore. They generally don't do the same work, in my opinion. But no, it just sounds really fishy.
Yeah.
So,
But this is also internet we don't need.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jack.
And the question is there the internet they're going to be providing, it's not even going to be compatible to what we have, because what we have in the office is, you know, is fairly quick internet. If they're going to use it wireless, the chances are you're not going to have the capacity or the bandwidth what we're having in the office right now. I just don't see the purpose.
I don't either.
I think I'm in agreement with everybody else that's thinking this is kind of a smelly deal, so not really behind it.
Well, and initially for me, I thought, well, this might be a good revenue generator if they want to just jump onto our tower, pay us a fee, not interrupt us. You know, that, you know, Doug was saying $200 to $400 a month type thing is a general rental fee. You know, it's free money, right? We have the space if they want to use it, but when I imagine they'll probably want to take down that tower because it is old. And I can't see us going through that just for what they're willing to give us. Right, it's too much.
Well, I think we have a consensus here.
Dave, have you Googled them to see what if anything?
I haven't yet. No, I haven't had a chance yet. Doug has never heard of them. He thinks they're out of a small town somewhere, like, you know, within the, you know, like a 100-kilometer radius type thing. But I haven't had a chance to Google them to see what they're about. But I've just, it just seems that the deal seems to get, instead of getting sweeter as we go along, it seems to get more and more sour with the emails that I get, that they're really not willing to give as much. So.
Okay. Oh, well. All right. Does anybody have anything else for the chief? Okay.
Actually, I had one more thing I want to talk about. Was there any consideration about replacing the flagpole that was knocked down in front of the fire hall?
Oh, Annette?
Yep.
Do we have an idea of what that might cost, and do we have money in the budget to do this? Because we really should have the Canadian flag, the Ontario flag, and the Bonnechere Valley flag all flying. And I know at this time, all we have is the Canadian flag.
Yeah.
Do we have an idea?
I don't have an idea, but I can get one. Now, from what I see there, we only ever had the 2 flags. I guess we had the Bonnechere Valley flag and the Canada. So I can definitely look in putting up the 3 flags if you'd like. What we did this year is we had the township flag flying, except of course for just before Canada Day there, we had the Canada flag put up and sort of left it, we've sort of left it up there. Whether that's for the summer, does that stay up there up until Remembrance Day? You know, those are sort of time periods that we could definitely discuss. But I can look at the costs of, first of all, replacing the flagpole that's there, and then we'd have to install a 3rd one. So I don't know.
Yeah, because the one that got hit,
Mhm,
I mean, it was pretty dicey, and eventually I guess we took it down. But
mhm.
I think all 3 flags should be flying in front of our municipal office, even if they're poles off the building. All 3 should be flying.
Okay, I'll definitely look into it.
Thank you.
And one final thing with the building, and I don't know if this is something that I should talk to Jason about. Maybe Jason can bring it to the next council, but when you drive in the one way at the municipal office, if you look at the top, all of the east trough's been torn down from the ice damming. Last year,
Yeah.
we had a couple of big floods in that fire hall, and then I guess the ice eventually broke all the east troughing off. So now that's a fall hazard, like ice falls off that building in the wintertime. I
Now,
don't know if we should get,
Are you talking at the entranceway to the office, or are you saying that?
I'm talking the Kelly's Corner side. So
Oh.
where you pull in, if you look the entire length of the building, the east troughs have torn right off.
Okay, so
So-
we did have them looking at the other side of the building, because that we did recognize that, but I didn't see it on that side. So it's the work that needs to be done is more extensive.
I think so. And I think we should probably put ice breaks up there just to stop
Okay.
the ice from falling off the building. Because last year was a particularly bad year and we had a lot of ice chunks fall off that building.
Okay, Jason and I were only looking at the one side, but I'll
Okay.
speak to him about the other side. Thank you.
Okay, we'll see what. Okay, just thinking ahead before winter because it's coming.
It's like 1,000 degrees out, but we're talking about winter already.
Yeah.
All right. Did you have anything else?
I think that's it for me.
Okay. Anything else for Dave? All right. Thanks, Chief.
Thank you. Take care.
Thanks, Dave.
All right. So we will move on to Annette's report.
Is Daryl coming or no?
Daryl is, yeah, he's on after me because he's
Oh.
for the closed session. So I booked him last, but we're way over the time. So.
Yeah.
So I'll try to be brief on my report, unless there's questions on the financials or anything else there. The only thing that I sort of am looking for direction from council on is, so the ATVs, so the change took place as of July 1st, where there's a new type of off-road vehicle, so motorcycles, motorbikes, things like that, extreme terrain vehicles that are now permitted. But they are not included in our current bylaw. So they are not permitted on our municipal roads at the moment. However, come January 1st, 2021, we are one of the municipalities in the regulation that all of those types of ATVs and off-road vehicles will be permitted on all of our roads unless we prohibit them. So something to think about if you want a bylaw to come forward, either to permit the 2 new types between now and January 1st, or if you want to leave it as it is until January 1st and let everything be permitted at that time, or if you would like something to be prohibited at that time, then I need direction to do that.
Okay. I want to be consistent with the rest of the county, or at least with the county.
Mhm.
But you go ahead.
Yeah, quite a few years ago, you weren't allowed to have anything on the road. And I know there was some probably concern that, these things would be all over the place all the time. But I'll tell you right now, the four-wheelers are allowed, side-by-sides are allowed, everything is allowed, and we're not overrun with them on our roads whatsoever. Most people are watching what they're doing and very respective of what has to be done. You know, I think it's only going to be, you know, the Argo that's allowed on the road coming up. Those are hunters using those, and the only time they'll be using them is to, you know, maybe cross a path or whatever. You're not going to be breaking any laws, and I haven't seen a whole pile of dirt bikes as of yet going around. So I think that if everybody else is allowed, we should be allowing these guys as well.
So
Well,
in
that
our,
was the-
sorry, go ahead.
So that was the same conversation we had a few years ago. And when we were talking about ATVs and the like, side by sides. And my concern was, you know, we've got municipal roads, county roads, and provincial roads. And I didn't think it was fair to those people using those apparatus to have to go, oh, wait a minute, what kind of road am I on? Because now, oh boy, I'm on a Bonnechere Valley Road and they're prohibited, but now I'm on a county road and they're allowed. So I think consistency also helps with any of those issues that you just spoke of, Tim. I think people have been very respectful, and I think any confusion that we cause within the municipality isn't doing those people any good at all. Yes, Merv.
What are the two new units that they're adding, Annette?
So it's the off-road motorcycles and the extreme terrain vehicles, which look to me like maybe they can go underwater.
Or Argos?
They look like a mini tank.
They do. They look like a mini tank.
Argos.
Argo, yeah, it has about a top
Yeah.
speed of 10 mile an hour, and they're rougher than a bulldozer. So there's not going to be anybody racing up and down the road on Argo. Those are a hunting machine for the most
Yeah.
part, right? So
And dirt
So
bikes.
do you-
What?
Well, do you guys, so do you want to do this bylaw sooner than later? Because as of January, it's a foregone conclusion, but we can do it at our next meeting if you want. Yes, I think it's just a matter of amending the appendix, correct? Just the schedule A.
That's
So
correct.
that's
And
easy.
in our
That's easy.
CIO, yes, it is easy. And in our CIO meeting,
Easy.
somebody else is bringing it forward.
Okay.
They're not adding this additional one. Like I said, they'll be automatically added in January 1st. No one's doing the change from July to January that I've seen. And I haven't seen the county bringing anything forward either. So, I mean, we can leave it. If you would like to have it added, we can add it too.
Okay, Brent, yes.
Oh, I was just gonna say we might as well add it and just make it legal because it's coming
Yeah.
anyway. They honestly, the things they added, it's not gonna make a difference. So, like, no
And
one's gonna be winning any speeding awards in an Argo. So,
But the other thing is, even though it's going to become provincial legislation anyway, I still think it should be in our bylaws. So to just say it's going to revert anyway, that schedule has our allowances. So I think we should all be amending our bylaws. Yes, Tim,
Yeah,
go ahead.
one other thing, and like I said before, hunting season is just coming up now. So
Yes.
this way, if anybody is coming to our little municipality to spend their money and do their business and such, that if they do cross the road with their Argo, they're not breaking any laws if it's coming forward anyway. I would much rather see that happen sooner than later, that these guys and girls that are out there enjoying what we have to offer here in Bonnechere Valley aren't worried about a ticket from now to January.
Yeah, it's just the county roads that haven't changed. So it'll be our roads will be fine, the provinces will be fine, but it's up to the county to add it to theirs there too. So. Yeah, so I'll bring that forward then to the September 1st meeting.
Well, the Development and Property Committee is meeting right now. So I'll be interested to hear if they've decided to go ahead.
Yeah, because Paul was at our CAO meeting when I discussed it. So,
Okay. Brent, did I see your hand up?
nope. I was just saying, let's get her done.
Let's get her done. Okay, everybody's good?
Good.
Yeehaw. Okay.
okay. The other thing that looking for some direction on is the new availability to have proxy voting for council members. So basically, if you would like us to use that, it's something the province has given us as an additional tool to the electronic. Now, we just passed that you can participate electronically. So I think that allows you to attend meetings if you can't come in person. But in addition to that, we are now allowed to have proxy voting. So if Merv couldn't attend a meeting and he wanted Jack to vote for him, he would sign his proxy over to Jack and Jack would act on or vote on his behalf. My only personal, well, professional concern with that is what if something is presented at the meeting that wasn't in the package that you didn't see, or some discussion or somebody brought up a point and oh, that would have changed which way I was voting, but it's too late at that point because you're not there and you've given your proxy. So not that most of the decisions can probably be reversed and bylaws can be amended. So maybe that's not really a concern, and maybe we don't want to have anything, maybe we're not interested in doing proxy voting, I don't know. But if you are, then again, that would be a bylaw that I would have to bring forward.
Okay, I've got Brent and then Tim, and I have my own thoughts. Go ahead, Brent.
I was just gonna say it seems to be working as is, just fine. I especially like, so any major decision that's come to this council, we've pushed it off until members were there. And realistically, things can get amended or people can make a new motion and change it. But no, I think it's working as is, and I'm not supportive of moving it forward.
Tim?
Basically backing up what Brent said, because we've always waited till everybody's been in the chambers. And if there's ever an emergency where things have to be decided on, we call an emergency meeting where we're all able to attend, right? So for the most part, we don't have to, shove that off. And it's easier to make the pen stroke once than have to go back in the future and reverse it if we want to make amendments. So I think we'll leave it the way it is.
So my own personal thought is the province has allowed us to continue with these virtual meetings. We have decided as a council that we will continue in this manner until the mask requirement is not necessary. So I don't know why, even let's pretend that COVID is over and, a girl can dream, but it's now cold and flu season and Brent comes down with the worst cold he's ever had. Well, you know what? Brent can still come in virtually, not infect the rest of the office with his cold. Sorry, Brent, I'm just using you as the example, but we now have the tool in our toolbox that we shouldn't need proxy voting. So that's my feeling on it. I'm not sure what the impetus was of the province allowing this or suggesting that we can make the decision on it. I don't know why, because they've given us probably the greatest thing right now to continue meeting the way we're meeting right now. And in fact, we're actually seeing more, and I believe more transparent because more people are watching us on Zoom. Yes, Merv, I apologize. I saw your hand.
No problem. I'm very brief. When I first got into politics, the overall election, there were proxy votes, and I've got a bitter taste in my mouth just proxy voting. And there's no need for it, as I can see it. You can be there virtually.
Well, yeah, especially this way. So, I've had the conversation at county with some of my colleagues. I've had the conversation with Annette, with a couple of you. I think that going forward, that this particular tool is actually going to help during other illnesses that aren't necessarily COVID, because the way we sit in our chambers, quite frankly, I don't want Jack sitting next to me if he's got the flu. So I think that this is giving us a new way to ensure that we always have all five of us. And I know, Tim, you sit closer to him than I do.
Well, no, but I've also seen someone sitting with a big box of tissues at the head of the table too.
That would be me.
So I was kind of thinking of that, but hey, I wasn't.
I know. Tim, this is exactly my point.
There, yeah, for sure.
This is I should never have been at that meeting, right? I probably.
And then poor Jack came in the next week with the sniffles. Remember that? Yeah, poor Jack.
You ended up.
You was the example, Jack. Can you imagine?
No, but Tim, you ended up sick after that meeting,
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
right?
It was the hug.
So
I think.
that's what I'm saying. I never should have been in that room, but I participated from my couch with my box of tissues here, not all gross in the council chambers. So I'm not saying that if you have a sore throat, you have to stay away, or an earache, or you've stubbed your toe. But I think that during our real cold and flu season, this is another tool for us to use. And there is no reason for proxy voting. And you know what, Merv? I kind of dislike the term as well. And I totally appreciate the professional advice from our CAO saying, you know what? You could have it dead on in your head how you're going to vote, and you go into a meeting and we debate, and you come out thinking, you know what? I hadn't thought of that, and now I'm going to vote the other way. So I think that that's very good advice. So I'm happy to hear that we're satisfied with this particular bylaw and the way we're able to meet.
Yeah, as long as we have. As long as,
That's right, Tim.
as long as we have cell service, basically we can connect with council. So,
That's
you know,
right.
it's a pretty easy way to do things, right? So.
That's right. All right, what else do you got for us, Annette?
Okay, so nothing happening on that one. So what I have is, so as everybody's aware, the mayor and myself are going to be attending AMO's first virtual conference next week. So we'll see how that goes. It seems to be mostly, it ends like early afternoon. So, you know, with everything that's going now, we do have, I think, 3 delegations were approved so far. We've got one with the Minister of Agriculture, one with the Minister of Finance, and one with Ministry of Infrastructure. So we're preparing reports for those now. And we did a request one for Ministry of Health. We haven't heard back. I think we haven't heard back. It's not happening at this point. So that's sort of what's happening there. So we'll keep you posted on those. And just a note here and some direction needed on prior to COVID-19, we were discussing with the Embassy of the Republic of Korea in Ottawa to organize a visit, basically a Korea Day in Eganville. I guess both Korea, Japan, different areas in the world have rural municipalities, and they're looking to Canada to see how we're doing things here. And so they've done some tours. So Eganville is on their hit list. So basically in talks with them to see if we could have sort of a day to represent. And I know there is some Korean individuals in the area who are very talented musicians, different things. They play all kinds of you know, musical instruments and stuff like that. So it could be quite an interesting day for sure. And they just want to see, you know, how are we doing things here? So to be able to have the minister and the ambassador and that here for the day and sort of, you know, put a spotlight on Bonnechere Valley, that'd be great. However, COVID-19 happened, so they're still willing to consider hosting the Korea Day in Eganville in September or October this year if council's still interested. But they also feel that if council feels it would be better to postpone to next year, then they're more than willing to do that, because there may be sites they can't see. You know, the Bonnechere Caves are still closed, different things like that. So, and I realize that's outside of Bonnechere Valley, but still, you know, focusing in on the area, there may be sites in Bonnechere Valley itself that, you know, is that sort of when we want to put ourselves in the spotlight, or do we want to wait and see how things go next year? So just some direction. I want to get back to the embassy and let them know what our intentions are.
Well, I've been giving this a lot of thought, and I mean, this was really exciting when, you know, when we first started to talk about it. Of course, COVID wasn't around.
Yeah.
My only concern about September or October is this sort of threat of a second wave.
Mm-hmm.
And I would hate to plan something and have to cancel it, you know, due to any growing numbers or anything else. Personally, I think next summer would be a nicer time, maybe early summer, maybe June, when the weather is nice, but not, you know, 150 degrees outside, and that we could showcase everything, and perhaps then, everything will be open. That's my feeling on it. But I'm open to suggestions.
Okay.
Yes, Brent.
I was just gonna say, similar to, I guess, like other events, like for example, like we're able to do Canada Day during everything. So kind of my opinion on is, I would like to see it happen this year, if at some part. I wouldn't mind seeing September, October if they're willing to, and if we're able to figure something out. But I'd be open to doing something as well in next summer as well. But similar to a lot of other things, I just think it's a way to support the businesses and bring some more. I think it's just an excellent relationship, and if they're willing to do it this year, September, October, then I have no problem doing it. Fall is beautiful in this area, and then we can also have discussions about sometime next summer as well. But if they're willing to do it September, October, and staff is willing to help out and organize it, then yeah, like I'm all for it. If they're willing to, then I think we should be willing partners as well.
I think that dilutes the day if we're planning 2 days, but all right. Yes, Merv.
Yes, I could go either way. It doesn't matter this year or next year. You know, I'd welcome them. And also remind them that they'd be nice to us because Ontario helped them build a nuclear generating station in Korea. I didn't get going there, unfortunately.
Jack, do you have any thoughts? You're on mute.
Clock was going off. My thoughts are, it'd probably be more educational to them if they come and did it next summer. We'd be able to give them the full extent of what our little community, or what our community has. The only benefit of coming into the fall is they will be blessed with the benefit of the fall colors and the leaves and stuff, which is always, I know they're always intrigued in that type of environment. But as far as us showing them what we have with the caves and everything, I think next summer is probably the preferred choice. So, but whichever way they want to swing.
Oh, sorry, Jack.
No, go ahead. Whichever way they want to do it is fine with me.
Tim?
I don't know. I guess the summer is probably the better way to go. I would think too, probably. I don't know. There's lots of, the thing is, if you wait on the weather or whatever around here, you're waiting on the wrong thing, because there's positives to our little area in every season. So, you know, you can look at the good in every one season that we have to offer here. So for me, it matters not what time, as long as it's appropriate with the circumstances outside of that.
So Annette, did they have a preference?
No, they said they'd be willing to do either. So they were open to either, but they wanted to know what council was comfortable with. The only thing that concerns me is, of course, we're bringing people in. Are we all going to have to meet? Are we all going to have to wear masks? Are we all, like, you know what I mean? If we've got the minister and the ambassador and stuff coming from the Republic of Korea, like it'd be kind of nice to be able to shake hands. It would be kind of nice, you know what I mean? I don't know that we're going to be there by next spring. I don't, but I know we're not going to be there by the fall. So that's my only, like, I don't know.
Yes, Jack.
Well, what is it that they're hoping to see from us? They're hoping to just see us and doing a daily routine, or what is it that what is the goal of this meeting?
So I think it's an event where it's two cultures sort of coming together, learning about each other. So they want to see, you know, how our little town functions and how, you know, what goes on in this area, sort of meet with the municipal council. Probably maybe they want to have like a tour, you know, kind of see the water plant, see, you know, how are we doing things here? And then the other thing is they'd like to have some stuff from their own culture. So like I said, there's some local talent in Pembroke that I know of that definitely we could have them out and have a bit of a Korean day. They would like to see the caves. They did mention that as well, which is closed right now. So I think though that's something too. And I just don't know how many people will come out. Is everybody, I don't know. I don't know.
No, I was
So
gonna say,
basically, yeah, oh, sorry.
so I was gonna say, everything that you just said, and that makes everyone just want to do it next summer, because we're gonna be able to showcase
Yeah.
more. And especially being August 10th, it's
Yeah.
only gonna give us a couple months to advertise for it. So that's, especially if their expectations is all this, to really showcase our community and everything like that. So yeah, like I have no problem, and we want people to come out to it. So summertime, yeah. So why not next year? That's no problem. Like I would love to see it happen this fall, but the thing is if what sounds like what their expectations are, I think for the benefit for the township would be to have it next year.
Mhm.
Yes, Merv.
Yeah, after hearing what Annette said, I agree. That may be a better day next year. I agree with Brent.
Yes, Tim.
And looking at what's happening out there, even our border with our closest country is probably not going to be open this year. I think for us to plan anything internationally is a little bit anxious. So I agree with Brent and the gang there that next summer would be the way to go if we can.
And I also don't know how our own MPP and MP would feel, like, because of course they would receive invitations. You know, how comfortable are they coming out? Are they going to have to wear masks? Now, you know, Cheryl was good to come to the fire demonstration there, and I know John's always good to come out, the warden, things like that. So yeah, like definitely we want to showcase and we want to do everything we can do. We wanted to look at this as a significant opportunity. So again, they're not opposed to coming in the fall, and I think that's because this is the year we proposed to them. But I think they'd be just as happy to come next year, and I think it's going to give us some good time to see how this COVID plays out, and also to really, like Brent said, you know, make some arrangements, talk to some musicians, see you know, let's make this some good fanfare, and hopefully that the business is off to a roaring start next year.
Gives us something to look forward to next year.
Yeah.
Yep.
I just think September, October is pretty ambitious, but anyway. Okay, so next year, what else you got
Okay.
for us?
So I think everything else is pretty much in my report, unless there's questions. We sort of talked about the municipal services officer bylaw stuff like that. We're going to look at some of that in closed session today, because I think we have some reports and some information on that position. And the building department, again, we have Mark's monthly statistics there, and Dana did prepare her planning and community development officer information. So we have had a few different zoning inquiries. We did have a public meeting in July. We have one today as well. So that's continuing to progress as far as growth and development in the municipality, and funding applications as well. We continue to apply for those wherever we can. So we're you know, staff is moving forward with all of the different projects that are sort of in the queue, and you know, trying to get as much done as we can this year, next year, the year after. We just keep chasing to see if we can get more dollars for more projects here. So I don't know if there's any questions on any of that.
Does anybody have anything for Annette? Okay, so Annette, you just indicated that you have Daryl on next to go into
Yes.
close. My preference would be to do closed at the very end, but does Daryl want to log on from home maybe? Yes, Brent. Oh my gosh, there's Daryl.
I was gonna say the only piece. Oh, okay, and then we'll do the new unfinished after.
Here.
Well, yeah, Daryl, do you want to do your report now, and then you can go home and you can log on for our closed later on?
No, I'll stay because I don't have very good internet at home lately.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
that's no
We
problem.
shouldn't be very long. We've just got correspondence after you, and then new and unfinished,
Okay,
and then we'll get closed.
okay.
Okay,
no
so.
problem.
Oh, yes, Annette.
Sorry, I did also get a text there from Jason, just an FYI. So the extended warranty was on McGrath Road. So he has asked for the one on to be extended on 4th Street Road as well, but he just realized he didn't get that back from McIntosh Perry. Like he got it back on McGrath, but he didn't get it back on 4th Shoot. So anyway, he will update us. He's now asked them again to respond to that. So
Thank you for that.
maybe
Yeah.
they responded to one and not the other. You know, sometimes you get too many projects going on at the time. So I'll let you know what they say.
Thank you, and thank Jason for us.
I will. Yeah.
Daryl, take us away.
Hey, well, nothing's really changed a whole lot other than we have the #2 sewage plant tore down. We're waiting for the contractor to come and try and do some repairs for us. Which hopefully he's working out a price right now. So we replaced our lights in the loading bay. So we have about 2/3 of the plant done now. And Brent, I haven't forgot about you and your request there. I'm working on that too. So
Yeah, no worries.
so
I love that those lights were there in 1990.
I
I
know.
don't think it was alive.
So anyways, I got LEDs on 2/3 of the place now.
That's great.
So, yep.
All right, anything else for Daryl? Yes, go ahead, Tim.
So Daryl, when you have your screen shining at the ceiling next time you're in the building, can you turn it to that beautiful view out the window for us?
You do have the best. Oh, look at that.
Look at that. That's fantastic, Daryl. Just
He's
right
got
there.
the best office in the
Hey.
municipality.
Hey, when I have a hunch, I have a hunch, eh?
Yeah. Very nice. All right, anything else for Daryl? All right, seeing none. Thanks, Daryl. We'll see you in a few minutes, okay?
Okay. Good enough.
Okay. So we'll move on to correspondence. Did anybody have anything on correspondence? There were a couple of resolutions that I thought that we should definitely, sorry, I gotta go all the way back. There were a couple of resolutions that I thought that we should definitely pass as well. The one from the town of Renfrew and the one from the town of Renfrew about the economic motion and the EORN support letter. And I was going to ask about the aggregate resources, if anybody knows that portfolio better than me, because that is not my wheelhouse. But those were the three that I thought that maybe we should support. Any issues with that, guys? Seeing none. Okay. So Annette, could we have those done for the next meeting? None of them. Time is not of the essence for any of them.
Okay, so it doesn't have to be done for council this evening?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, what about the EORN support letter? Because that can just be staff direction, right? We don't need a resolution. for
Yeah, and maybe,
Or do you
yes,
want one?
do that. Yeah,
The internet.
and at least that's done, right?
Okay,
Okay,
so we'll just reflect that in the minutes. So we'll get the letter, support letter to EORN and the town of Renfrew and the aggregate resources from,
from Poos Lynch.
okay, those
Yeah.
two we'll bring forward to the September 1st meeting.
That would be great.
Okay,
All right, if there's nothing further on correspondence. So again, I don't have anything from the county of Renfrew because we don't meet in July. So my committee meetings resume tomorrow and the rest of this week, and then county council, of course. So I'm going to turn this over. Brent, I believe you added the RED program.
Yes, because it was a
Did what Tim asked.
Oh, you just noticed now? He did it right away. I was laughing when he was turning the camera, getting the most perfect view. Like, look at that. That's just like a portrait right there.
It's beautiful.
I'm doing my next meeting from his office.
All right, Brent, go ahead.
no worries. It was just for because we have the bylaw tonight, passing it. But just for the rural economic development program. So we talked about that briefly at budget. And that's for the business retention and expansion strategy, if I recall. So because it's a $10,000, so 5,000 one year, 5,000 next. Government's going to give the other 5,000, or sorry, 10,000. The only question I had is, I'm glad we got the grant, but is it really beneficial for a business, or like for a business retention? Like I would rather, like in my opinion, we can each probably make a list of 50 things that are their first appearance of coming to town. I don't really think it's a benefit for a taxpayer to have to pay a consultant 10,000 or taxpayer money to tell us kind of how to retain businesses. I think it's kind of common sense. Realistically, we probably spend the $10,000. I don't know, painting you could paint the food bank building, like that'd make the town look better. That'd make your appearance better. There's a lot of things you can take down, a bunch of the trees along the river, make the view better at Centennial Park. End of the day, is this the best? I'd ask council, is this the best $10,000 we can spend? I'm glad we got the money from the province, but do we really need a consultant? I would also maybe suggest if council wants to spend the 10,000 on it, maybe to send a letter or a survey out to all their residents and ask them, hey, what are 10 things wrong with our municipality? So
Annette has an answer for you. I'm not sure if she wants to tell you the answer right now because we're waiting for the report from Wayfinders, but Annette does have an answer for you.
Yeah, so what I would recommend is that the transfer payment agreement is signed and sent to them, because I have in the past, talked to organizations when you get the funding, and they always say, well, take the funding, sign the agreement, get the agreement back to us. And, if you need to tweak what you were doing or stuff like that, then you ask for that afterwards. So the other thing that I would add to that is we are getting our operational review report from Wayfinders in September. So when we look at that, a component of that was economic development. So there will be recommendations in that report. And so before we look at appointing anybody, as you said, Brent, as a consultant or what to do, what I would like to see is how that consultant thinks that we should should we be investing in economic development? So they may have suggestions that already say, here's your best bang for your buck. Here's the 3 things that are going to get you the most. Now, are we able to, if we discuss with Red, so yeah, we wanted to do an economic development and a business retention plan, and we wanted to do a study and all this. We were in the middle of our operational review. In doing our operational review and looking at all of our services, one of the services they looked at was economic development, and now they've come back with this sort of advice. So do we need further advice, or is there things that we can move forward with doing, and does Red support that? So that's sort of in the back of my mind going forward. I'd like to get the transfer payment agreement to them so that they know we're on board to receive the money, and how we're specifically going to spend that. Like you said, depending on what comes out of our operational review, maybe enough studies been done in one area, and now we can invest it in something concrete, or maybe the study leads to another study. I don't know for sure, but yeah, I'd like to look at that first.
Well, and that was one of my main questions was there. Well, my second point was, how flexible is the money within this? Because specifically we put in for business retention expansion strategy. So what's the definition of expansion, and what's it like? So that's like, I have no problem because we can always give the money back, but it was more just that I'm not in favor of spending money on what we originally proposed for, which was business retention. It's simple. You need more people live in your town. You make it more economical. You need more property tax. You need more development. You need more people coming to your township. You need more people in the water and sewer system. It's quite straightforward. You can drive through the town. Everyone comes to their town for the river. Okay, let's put our money towards trimming the trees along Centennial Park. Like, it's stuff simple like that. And my whole point of bringing this forward was that I'm not supportive of have a consultant for the business retention expansion strategy, but I'm in favor of getting the money, sitting on it, but I'm not in favor of putting consultant directly for business retention. It just doesn't make sense to me when we could ask our taxpayer to do the same thing.
Okay, and I just want to remind everybody that Bonnechere Valley is not only the village of Eganville, that there are things outside the village that also need our attention. So I think that we need to be careful about, you know, this thing that we went through with Wayfinders was not only about the village, it was about the township as a whole, and that needs to be taken into consideration. Sorry, Tim, go ahead. I saw your hand up.
Yeah, I don't know. Did I just hear we're getting a consultant to give us information on a consultant?
Okay, so hang on.
But that's what the way I took it here. We sound like we're consulting or a consultant to give us an answer on a consultant here, and I think we're getting a little deep in consultants there. So
okay, so it was the timing of it. So we applied for the red grant, and then we hired Wayfinders, and we did our service delivery review.
So I didn't mishear this.
No. It was just the timing. But Red has been good with us in the past at sort of pivoting, although one we did give the money back, as Brent said, sometimes that happens. You know, it's not a whole lot of money, and certainly we're not going to hire a consultant on top of a consultant, but it is sort of, you know, where do we go from here?
So
yes.
So just one other cautionary item. I think we know that it's not Eganville centric. We haven't been Eganville centric, I don't think, in this council for since 2018. We are capable of making a lot of in-house decisions and doing our own research, I believe, too. So I agree with Brent, as we have to caution on what we use. And it always is somebody else's money that we're spending, whether it comes from the province or from our little municipal taxpayer or the federal government. It is one taxpayer out there. So we have to be very cautious of that no matter what we do in the future going forward. And there are a lot of things we can come up with on our own with a lot of surveys and stuff if we do get creative, or the need is at the time to find something out. So
just remember, we pay for all of these things through our income tax. So anything we can get back, I'm all in favor for. This is not, I agree, one taxpayer, but we pay for this whether we want to or not by virtue of our income taxes.
One thing towards that, and what we're going to find out in the next little while, especially in this COVID crisis, is that eventually they're going to run out of money. And when they run out of money to hand out, they're going to have to come for more money. And if you're not spending more money at the time, they don't have to come for as much in the future. So I just air that as a piece of caution going ahead when we're looking at things. And yes, we want to get as much back as we can, but I'd much rather keep it in my pocket in the previous year than handing it out come income tax time when they realize that they've already spent last year's income tax money that I've given them and coming for more. So that's my little. Anyway.
I think they're 3 years behind, but I get what
they're going to come for more no matter what. So.
Yeah. All right. Anything further? All right. So the date of our next meeting is September. Can somebody help me out? September what, Annette? Oh,
First.
yes.
First.
Isn't that Labor Day? Or is Labor Day now the 8th?
Labor Day now is the 7th. Yeah, so it's
The
September.
7th. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So the date of our next meeting is September the 1st. And now we're going to take 2 minutes. Should we log out and then log back in for closed? I want to read or are you just going to shut down YouTube?
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take us off the YouTube. So if anybody's looking for our rise and report afterwards, as they know, like closed is the whole discussion is not public, but usually we have a little blurb that says, well, here's the sort of what we talked about.
Okay.
They will be able to read that in the minutes that'll be posted at the next meeting for sure. So we'll be as open and transparent as we can be as to why we came into close. But yes, we have to leave YouTube.
Okay, sounds good. So Can everybody just confirm that they are alone where they are in their house? You good? Okay, thanks